welcome back. So I'm showing here on the back of this vinyl that I wrote out what I had in mind. And I am just kind of showing you all this because I started doing this just recently, and I think that it's a pretty good idea to, like, when you get a vinyl, to write on the back, you know, what you had in mind in the beginning. Now you could totally use it for something else, but I think if you are like, you know, this is what I had in mind, and you write it down on there, that when later on when you pull it back out, you're like, that's why I bought this, and you're like, yeah, that'll be a good idea. Or you know what, I have even a better idea, or whatever, or maybe it'll just kind of get your juices flowing. So anyways, I got this vinyl at last year, actually, from the Vinyl Cottage. It was part of a mystery box or something, and it was Halloween themed and all that. And so I put it in the drawer. I had no idea what I was going to do with it last year, and this year I pulled some vinyl out and I started looking and just like, what can I do with this? And I thought, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to wrap this up, this vinyl, wrap it around this tumbler, and then we're going to put that decal on the front. So here I wanted to show you how this this tumbler, ultimate tumbler guide tool, whatever. I always forget the name. Anyways, there's like different pieces that do different things, right? And so I wanted to kind of show y'all that all of those pieces can come off, and then you can leave just the little pieces that are on the side here. And once you get that lined up, and you can use your marker there and make a line where you want to start your vinyl. Now, this is not an exact science, but it does help out tremendous for just getting like a really good straight line. I did not get as a straight line as I wanted to, only because I did not cut the white on the on that one side. I don't know why. I don't know what happened, or if I just didn't do it. And so when I put the line, when I put the white part of the vinyl on there, the line, I kind of was a little bit off. I think if I had taken that white piece off, I would have had a little bit better look with the darker vinyl. Anyways, that's my excuse that I'm saying. But I could have very well just drawn the line wrong. But it does help out a lot, this tool, and I have used it almost at every single vinyl wrap that I have done, or other things. And the cami page, the carrier, what do you call it? The cup cradle is so amazing too. And I used to have my own, and I did my own thing, but I really love this one. It really does work very well. It's got a low profile. It's not going to get in your way, and the cup just slides on and off, on and off. You know, it slides, I mean, not on and off, but around and around, so you can do whatever you need to do. And there was a bit of a white line left because of that white line that I did not remove for whatever reason. So there was a white line going through my, line in the back. But anyways, beside the point, it all turned out great, so we don't have to worry about that. But this also is another tool that I got from Cami Page Boutique, and everything's linked down below. Paxton 10, you get you 10% off. These are designed by a tumbler maker, so she really kind of knew exactly the things that you would need or want, or be able to utilize. And so I am cutting the top and the bottom off of this, and I didn't get quite the distance of the bottom off, and so I'm going to show y'all here in a minute how you change the razor blade to go up to a different level. So do not pull this out with your hands. Use a tweezer or pliers or whatever you have that will open this up, and do not touch it, do not pull at it, because it's very sharp. And this is also how you can replace the blade if you use it all the time and it just eventually gets dull. And then you just tighten those little wing nuts, and then you go right into cutting where you need to cut. So now I have my top and my bottom cut, and that's what I needed, because now we are going to go into our glitter drip. And I'm so excited for this because this Witch's Brew is going to be so amazing what we're going to do to it and make it glow in the dark. And so let's get to it. So I am using 2 glitters from Chase Rae that are listed down below, and then I'm using 2 glow in the dark glitters that match them from the Glitter Ranch, and that's linked down below as well. And I do have a discount code with them, Paxton 10, and I also would Chase Rae 321 for 15% off. Okay, so what I did was I put equal amounts of the green, the yellow, and then the glow in the dark green and the glow in the dark yellow. I love the way that the glow in the dark looks like. They have such a great bright neon kind of look to them, but I wanted it just to be a tad bit more muted. And so I took these 2 colors that were kind of like more of like a pastel yellow and green, just to bring it down just a notch. So I searched on Michaels.com to find these little beads, but I have seen them plenty of times when I go up there, but I don't know what to call them. I don't know what to look up. So if you go into the glitter section of Michaels, you will find these little beads, and they're just tiny, tiny little beads that are in a jar. And I wanted to make this look like, well, I was hoping that it would look like it was a bubbling brew, And I thought, these little, because some people use pearls and things like that. Well, I wanted to kind of use these to see if we could achieve it. Now, I had a plan for these like 2 years ago that I was going to do like a bubbly look for like a bathtub or something, and I never did it. But I was not nearly equipped with knowledge on how to do things as I am today. I would try, I might say. Let's just say I have done a lot of trial and error. Okay, so this this glitter mixture and epoxy mixture, I am adding nice and thick to it. Now, I used to be a big skeptical of nice and thick, and I'll be like, why do you need that? You still have to wait for it to cure. You still have to wait for it to, set up and da 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 da. But I tell you what, I really, honestly, this is a game changer for me, because the drips just act better. Like, they just kind of go and do what you want them to do. Now, if you put a lot of epoxy on the top of the cup or wherever you're doing it, it will drip down, but it has a tendency to kind of stop a little bit more. Like, it just doesn't keep on moving and moving and moving. That nice and thick really does help it just kind of solidify a lot faster and a lot, easier, so that you can do like a custom drip and kind of get the look that you're really wanting. And so I have like a little sample of nice and thick, which I'd link down below, and it is like 2 ounces or something like that. And I have used it a few times for a couple of drips, and I still have a lot of it. So I just wanted to say, if you're not doing a bunch of drips and you just want to try it out and see if it works for you, it's $5.99 just for that little tiny 2 ounce, and it will get you several cups, several different drips. So anyways, I just went right into, I have not put a coat of epoxy on this, by the way. Just wanted y'all to know. This is just vinyl wrap. Then we're putting the Witch's Brew decal, which is also linked down below. I've also got that at the Vinyl Cottage. It is part of a set, but the set's kind of cool. It's got witches and stuff like that. But if you do want this particular one, that's where it is, and that's, it's linked down below kind of thing. Anyways, so I let this sit. I just kept kind of watching a little bit. I didn't want to add too much of the nice and thick, only just because I knew that I was going to let it kind of do its thing and make sure that we had the drip that we wanted. So I just used enough just to kind of get control of it. And this is just something that you're just gonna kind of have to see as you go along. As you do more and more drips, you just kind of learn what is better. So I did an oil can tumbler, and I kind of messed up the bottom, and I needed to cover it up. So I decided that I would do the drip going on the bottom as well. So what I did was I brought the drip from the top and I just let it drip all the way down, and I kept pulling it down and pulling it down and pulling it down. So I thought for this one I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use this as our, like, it's bubbling out all out of the top, coming down the back, covering our seam up. How convenient, right? So we're covering up our seam, but we're also making it look like it's been bubbling from the top and going all the way down. Now, I'm gonna do a lot around the rim here, and that's what I did, just like any other drip, just like I did a drip last year. I've done several drips. I'm sure you have. I'm sure you've seen other people do drips, but it's pretty simple as far as put it on there, make sure you're watching it to make sure it doesn't go down too far or doesn't go down onto your decal or whatnot. I also, because we're going to flip this over and we're going to do the drip on the bottom of the cup as well, I had something ready, my Cami Page little holder there, so that I could flip it upside down and do the bottom, because I wanted to do it at the same time instead of doing one and then having to come back and, you know, let that cure and then do it again. So that's why the nice and thick is also very helpful, because it's going to set up good enough, long enough, strong enough, whatever you, however it comes out, but so that you can flip this upside down and put it on the bottom and achieve both looks in one sitting. So I was getting some longer drips there, which I was fine with, because we're going to be flipping this upside down here in a minute and doing the bottom, and so we are going to get some of those drips kind of going right back up to the top. And I don't mind, I didn't mind it going down. I didn't want to cover up too much of the look of the vinyl, but you know, I was fine with it going down a little bit, but I knew if I let it go down a little bit further that we were going to flip this upside down and then do the bottom, and so those drips were going to come right back up to the top, so we were, you know, we were going to get kind of a balance. So of course I didn't have any camera. I thought I was filming, and I didn't have any space left on my phone, so I had to delete a bunch of things and then come back and show y'all that how I did this, basically. And it's basically, I just covered the bottom. I mean, it was really basic. I mean, essentially the same thing that I did at the top, I just did at the bottom. I covered it all, and then I just let some of it you know, just kind of go over the edge there on the bottom, just so that it looks like it's bubbled over. It's been sitting in that brew, and if you can see those little bubbles, those little bead things in there look like little bubbles in there. And instead of having to apply all of these, you know, pearls and things like that, this is a much simpler thing. And you guys, after that, I did about 3 coats of epoxy. I put my label on the bottom. I did a little bit of sanding on the bottom. It does stand up very well, even though it does look pretty wobbly. It's actually sits up pretty well, so don't be too afraid of that. And I just love it. It's ready. We're ready for the spooky season that's coming up very, very fast. My birthday's in October, so I love October. I love the fall. Anyways, please like and subscribe and join my group down below, and I will see you guys next time.